Hey, what's up everybody? This is Josh Shezzy. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos, that's been posting and sharing. Feel free to share if you feel like what the content of this video will be beneficial to anyone that you may know. Feel free to share these videos. My heart is to help people. But I'm going to get right into this video because I have a lot of material that I want to cover in a short amount of time. But for those who wasn't able to catch the last video was called False Hopes in Relationships. I talk about the different false hopes that many of us present in relationships, a hope that we trying to present that we're not able or don't even plan to be committed to. So feel free to watch that video. But I'm going to get right into this video because I have 10 things that I want to share in a short amount of time. I even got a timer here. But the top 10 things that each and every one of us need to work on before or during marriage. The reason why I say during and before, they both go together, because how you practice in your single life is how you're going to perform in your married life. And just because you're married doesn't mean you don't stop practicing these certain things. So what I'm about to share, I pray it be beneficial to you. Like I said, how you practice in your single life will be how you perform in your married life. Just because you say I do, or just because you say you're committed in a relationship, doesn't negate the habits or the different things that you've been practicing in your single life. For those that are practicing bad habits today, those that are practicing certain things, listen real hard to these next 10 points to see where do you lie, or what are the different things that you're practicing now that is either evident in your relationship now or may be evident in the future. The first point is the commitment to God. That's the first thing, because that's the foundation. For those of people who endeavor to be successful in a marriage, have to abide by the principles that the lawgiver gave for marriage. If you don't know God, if you don't really have a good, strong relationship with God, if you're not committed to Him, how do you endeavor to be committed to your spouse? For it's out of God that He provides us with wisdom and insight and love, the source of love, to help us endure. That's why we have to we have to stop looking at the resources of a relationship and start connecting to the source. By me being a husband, I will one day be a resource to my wife. I am not my wife's source. If I'm a resource unplugged from the source, how can I endeavor to give out of myself something beneficial to her to sustain the marriage? Many of us are not committed to God. Many of us are not plugged up into the source, because how can we endeavor to be love, or to show love, or to be faithful, or be committed if we're not connected or committed to a giver of those things? So ask yourself today, are you committed to God? And first off, let me finish this. Committing to God is also being committed to His message, or what He says in His Word. He says, if you love me, you'll first keep my commandments. These are for the people who say, you know what, Josh, I want to make my relationships better. I want to make my life better. But your life doesn't become better until you first connect to God. And His Word gives us the standards in which we shall uphold. Number 2, baggage. Many of us have to look in our lives and say, what are the baggages that's in my life right now? What are those different things that are holding me down from my past relationships? Chances are the person that you used to be with is enjoying his or her life. It is time for you to sit back and allow God to unpack those baggages. What are those different baggages that you're holding from your previous relationship, as far as trust, as far as you not being trustworthy? What is your character looking like? Get rid of those different things that has been piling up into baggages that's holding you. Because if you continue to pack those bags and continue to dwell on those things in your past, it will destroy the relationship. The person you're with right now, does not have to be affected by another person. Don't let the person that you're with right now, or the person that you assume would be affected or be damaged or scarred because you are carrying the problems or the issues of the person in your previous relationship. Allow God to unpack those baggages. Number 3, your inner circle. Who are those influential voices in your life? Look inside of your life today and say, who are the core people in my life? Are these positive or negative individuals? Because the people closest to us have influence on us. The people, the way our moms act, our fathers act, our friends act, in some degree dictate how we make our decisions and our choices. That's why we have to have good counsel. Ask yourself today, who is in my inner circle. Because if you look at most marriages, it's always the mom that has input in a relationship. There's always a dad that has input in relationships. And sometimes those voices are so strong that they separate the marriage instead of upholding those two to be committed. Ask yourself, who's in your inner circle? Number 4, bad habits. What are those things that you're practicing right now that are bad? Are you practicing lust? Are you practicing prideful things? Because those lustful habits, such as pornography, such as masturbation, such as fornication, such as those prideful habits, such as selfishness and insecurities, those different things or those bad habits that you are producing or incubating in your single life will carry over into your married life. You have to ask yourself, what are those things that I'm practicing? Because when you practice these bad habits, it will bring bad results in a marriage. Number 5, maintenance. Are you maintaining this body? 2 or 3 years ago, for those people who knew me, I was 285 pounds overweight. And I came to realize that if I continue to stay at this weight, I will be unhealthy. No matter what I endeavor to provide for my wife or what I endeavor to provide within the context of family and marriage, if my body's not in shape, no matter what I endeavor to provide, if my body ceases to exist, everything else ceases to exist. Are you putting those different checks and balances in your life, those different things in your life that's helping you to maintain your body? Do you eat right? Do you exercise? Because it doesn't matter how young you are, they're already putting chemicals in our food. They're already doing things to destroy the immune system, to destroy our bodies. And if you're not a good steward over your body, you will not be a good steward over your family. Are you maintaining your body? Number 6 is increase your knowledge. Are you increasing your knowledge about the opposite sex? It doesn't matter how much you know about yourself. Marriage is between you and somebody else. If you don't take the time to understand how women communicate, how men communicate, how women think, how men think, the different things within those separate components, then you will fail. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Many of us will study, and we practice for so much things except for marriage. And we have to study so we can be in a position to have a successful marriage. If I take the time and not lackadaisical, I made that word up, I think. If I take the time and not study a female, when I get in a relationship or a marriage with a female, I will fail with my communication endeavors, with my ability to connect. The only way we connect is through communication. If that communication is not being received, then there will be miscommunication and confusion. Wherever confusion is, every evil work is there. Ask yourself, are you studying to show yourself approved? Do you know the opposite sex well? Number 7, I believe, is standards and priorities. Someone with no standards is easy to be overtaken. If you take standards off your life or you lower your standards, then you become an equal plane to what you don't really want in life. That's why a lot of people have to understand, I have to set high standards for myself. The higher do you put your standards, that's exactly what you're looking for in another person. If I have low standards, like a dam is a standard, because that dam hinders something from coming to the other side. That dam protects whatever's on the other side from being damaged by what the dam is blocking. The lower the dam, if the dam was built low but the water exceeds higher than the dam, then that dam will no longer help, or that dam will no longer be in a position to hinder what is coming against on the other side. The higher your standards are, no matter what comes into your life, you will not settle. If your standards are low, you're going to settle for low. But if your standards are high, you will settle for high things. Also, what are your priorities? Right now, get a sheet of paper, or after this video, get a sheet of paper and write down your priorities. What's number 1? Is God number 1? Because out of God, everything else will flow. If you don't have good priorities now, if you don't understand that, okay, God is a priority, health is a priority, stewardship over money is a priority. If I don't work on those different things, me not being consistent with those things can damage my marriage. I got that much time left. But number 8, I believe, is inconsistencies or character and integrity. Are you producing, or are you a person of good character? because those people who have inconsistent lives makes those around them inconsistent. We don't know, will this person be beneficial today because he's inconsistent or she's inconsistent. What are those things in your life that are inconsistent? Is your behavior inconsistent? Is your thoughts, is your mind inconsistent? Is your emotions inconsistent? Try to bring things in your life that's going to help you be consistent, help you to be a person that pays their bills on time, making sure that you handle your responsibilities, making sure that you're being consistent, balanced in life, because no one is going to want to accept you into their life that's consistent, because your inconsistencies will make their consistencies inconsistent. I think I said that right. Number 9 is insecurities. What are those different things in life that you're insecure about? What are those things that you have inside of your mind, inside of your environment, inside of your world that's making you insecure? It's those insecurities that Satan loves to come in and destroy you. Your insecurities are your weaknesses. That's why you are only as strong as your most weakest area of your life. Let me repeat that. You are only as strong as the weakest area of your life. If your weak area is so weak, then that's the area that will deteriorate your strengths. Look at your life right now and say, okay, this area right here I'm insecure at. If I don't work on this and I bring this into a relationship, that's a loophole in my life that Satan will use or funnel through demonic influences to destroy that marriage. If I'm insecure about anything, your weaknesses will destroy the strength of a marriage. Last one, I'm going to take some time on this one. Mind control. Your mind is separated, or your mind contains 6 different components. You have your thoughts, you have your memories, you have your emotions. Hold on, let me start over. You have your thoughts, your memories, your ideas, your perceptions, your knowledge, and your emotions. These 6 components of your mind, if you do not have control over them, will destroy the marriage. This is one of the most pivotal points out of this whole list after the commitment to God, because many of us are destroyed through the loopholes, through the contaminants of our mind. We don't understand that we don't have a good control over our thoughts. We don't have a good control over our memories. We don't have a good control over our ideas. Our perceptions of people are so broad, and we don't have a good control over them. We don't have good control over our knowledge. We pursue knowledge so much that we negate the other things in life. We don't have a good control over our emotions, and we have to ask ourselves that. Let me fix this. I'm sorry. If we don't have a good control over these different things, they will destroy us. The devil loves to get within our minds because that is the core being of our lives. That's the core being of who we are. If we don't have good control over our thoughts will run rampant. And we'll start thinking negative things. We'll be expecting love to fail. We'll be expecting him to cheat. We'll be expecting her to fail us because of our thoughts. And if we don't have control of our memories, we'll continue to bring on the baggages of our past. We'll continue to bring on what Johnny did or what Jen did. Or we'll continue to bring these memories to haunt us, which also triggers those thoughts. If we don't have a good control over our ideas, we'll start formulating different ideas to manipulate each other, to deceive each other, to get what we want. Or we'll formulate new ideas to lie, to cheat, to fornicate, to commit adultery. We'll find different ways for that. If we don't have a good control over our perceptions of people, we'll start perceiving that all men are dogs, and even though we get into a relationship, we treat him like a dog when he could be a good person. Or we have a negative perception about women that we don't even learn how to open ourselves up to them because of the other baggages or the other issues that was evident in the last relationships. If we don't have good control over our knowledge, we'll try to be successful in business. We'll try to be successful in everything but to be successful in our family. We'll endeavor to build empires, but our own homes will deteriorate. If we don't have a good control over our emotions, we'll operate off our emotions instead of reasoning. Many arguments are birthed out of unbalanced emotions. Side note, emotions are just indicators of a present mood. It's nothing to act off of. It's good to have emotions, but it's not good for emotions to have us. God gave us a brain to reason through things. He gave us a brain to say, you know what, honey, let's agree to disagree. Let's not allow this stupid argument to destroy our relationship. You got to ask yourself, do I have a good balance on my emotions? Because if a woman is unbalanced in her emotions, then she'll begin to nag. Then she'll begin to distrust him. Then she'll begin to verbally abuse her husband, calling him names, destroying his ego, destroying who he is because of her unbalanced emotions. If a husband or a boyfriend has unbalanced emotion, he becomes abusive. He operates off his anger. You have to ask yourself today, within these 10 components, because I'm over my time, you have to ask yourself, number one, am I committed to God? Am I living to pursue holiness instead of pursuing happiness? Am I a resource that's plugged into his source so I can be able to allow his attributes or his essence to flood through me to benefit the person I'm with? Am I, number two, unpacking or allowing God to unpack those baggages? Like I discussed in my previous video, I discussed about how an athlete, when he gets injured or when she gets injured, it's not a good move for that individual to go back and play within the environment that caused the injury. It's best for that athlete to take some time out and rest that injury. For those people who have baggages, who've been injured in relationships, you need to take the time to allow God to unpack those different baggages, unpack those different bad habits, so those things won't carry over into the relationship. Number three, check your inner circle. Number four, bad habits. Number six, look at those things to see, am I maintaining my body? Number seven, increase your knowledge about the opposite sex. Number eight, I'm just going to go through, I lost numbers. Standards and priorities, inconsistencies, insecurities, and the last one, do you have a good control over your mind? Thank you for watching my video. I know I probably scrambled through. It's just a lot of information that I really wanted to share today. But also with this video, I have some sheets or some self-evaluation questions that I want you to really look over to see where do you stand on these 10. It's good to self-evaluate yourself, to look at yourself and see where you fall under. Also, for those who don't know, I wrote a book last year and I published it in February. So for those people who want to check out what I wrote a book called Unplug. I talk about those different things that we need to unplug from in this world system. All of these points are covered in this book. Feel free to go to Amazon.com, type in Josh Wezzy, E as an elephant, Z as in zebra, E as an elephant for those who can't spell my last name. But thank you so much for watching my video. Feel free to post these videos. Feel free to share.